S20 to K5.
Right, sir.
I'm coming in the area. I know we've slowed this down now. You need someone to run with you.
Yeah, that's fine. If you want to come to the Grace Church, I'm trying to find where 19 is.
Copy.
So I've known Jake, from when I was a deputy here. Jake was a canine handler, a squared away one you would want. When you heard he was being dispatched on a call, you knew we had a good chance of catching the guy.
I want to say I probably originally met him when he was with K9. And obviously when you're on a patrol, K9's always out there with you. And with my personality, I always like to shoot the breeze with the guys after a track's done, and Jake's one of those guys I would always shoot with. And we just got to know each other that way. His personality kind of aligns with mine, so we just carried on from there.
Jake's a worker. Jake, even when he was in K9, you couldn't stop him. He was constantly taking calls, training his dog. The dogs that he worked were fantastic dogs because of the handler. In K9, we always say you get the dog you deserve, and Jake deserved great dogs. He worked for it, and his dogs were trained great, and they caught a lot of bad guys because of Jake.
There was a time when I was in patrols, brand new guy, and all I ever wanted to do was K9. And I was on SWAT at the time, and I lived north, and I went to the NDS gym at the Dunedin FD station, and I was there by myself. And then while I'm working out, like Jake walks in, and we didn't know each other, I just knew of him. And he was working out, and I was like, it's Jake Viano. Like, like he's like a celebrity. But when I went to K9 and got out of K9 school, I was assigned to Jake's squad. And so he was the one kind of like took me and started teaching me like, so there's K9 school, and then this is how you catch bad guys. So I learned everything from tracking, obedience, how to win in competitions. I learned everything from Jake.
Looks like the quiet type and very reserved, but once you break him out of his shell, it's nonstop laughs.
The call was a burglary in progress, vehicle burglaries, suspect was breaking into cars, and Matt got dispatched to it. While he was heading that way, Jake was working squad 2, and Jake heard the call and said, you know what, I'm gonna head that way and back him up, I'll run with him. And he got there just as Matt was getting on scene. Jake showed up, they linked up together, and Jake ran his back up.
All right, S20. K5's out, working his way up to the starting point. I'll be running with him.
I remember once I heard that Jake was gonna run, it's like the band's back together, because Jake and I, we love tracking together.
You would think it's odd for a sergeant to run with a canine handler, but with Jake's prior experience, that was nothing new to us. If he had the opportunity or he felt it was warranted, that wasn't out of the realm.
I assumed I was going to be going by myself, which is fine. But there is always that when you're going by yourself, like, what if, But when Jake's going, it's like this feeling of like, oh, this will be fun now, All the anxiety or like nervousness or the what ifs, they go away because you can't do the job scared. You know what I mean? So tracking by yourself, you just got to like stuff down any fear or anxieties and just go do the job and trust that, your dog's got you and, this person might have a gun, but you have a gun too. And so, you know what I mean? But when someone else is there, especially someone that you trust, and on top of that, a SWAT guy, former SWAT guy, or former canine, you got it made. Like, everything's fine.
I was the shift commander the night that shooting occurred, and as luck would have it, I had actually stopped at home for dinner to eat with the family when the call first came out. I remember hearing the call of shots fired, and I jumped up from the dinner table to head out, and then I was like, what's going on? I said, well, I got a call I got to head to. And then as I hit the door is when the call came across that we had an officer down, and it changes the whole magnitude of that.
Get your hands up! Get your hands up! Circle canine, stop! Get
When I came back to consciousness, and then I was aware of what happened. This whole like idea of like, oh my God, he got me. Like, just kind of like bewildered, like, how did he get me? I don't think the suspect had any idea what he was in store for. And when he stepped out to shoot me, I don't think he realized the fight he was asking for between Jake and Taco, as like the worst team to go up against.
Got a challenge. Challenge.
You know, hindsight, it was divine intervention that he ran that night because of, one, his knowledge of K-9 with his previous experience and still having the ability to provide a solid backup to Matt in that situation.
Some people might be surprised by that. I wasn't, because I know Jake. I know who he is. Jake is the kind of guy that when the pressure's on, he actually gets better.
The career that he's had, I mean, if you look at it from, professional athletics, from the time he was in baseball till he was in patrol for 5 minutes before we went to narcotics, and for narcotics was on SWAT, assistant sniper team leader on SWAT, and then in K-9, everything he's done in his career has prepared him for that moment. And I don't think people realize that's what it takes in order to rise to the occasion and kill someone who just tried to kill you. He didn't miss a beat, He took cover for a second, and then when he saw Zion was focused on Taco, he says all the time, like, well, now it's my turn. And, lit him up and put effective rounds on target. And that's not something easy to do when you just watch your friend get shot, and in his mind, he thought I was dead, And then not only did he kill Zion, it's a hostage shot. He killed Zion and didn't hit Taco at all. And after all that, then he organizes the entire call, runs the entire call. Calls for paramedics to come in, makes sure there's a route for them to come in, gets everyone to start working on me. He puts a tourniquet on me, he's assisting with CPR, and then once I left, you continue to watch Jake's body camera. Once I left and was out of here, then he decompressed.
Jake was definitely a hero that day, as well as Taco. Taco was certainly a hero that day. He did his job, no fear whatsoever, and he gave Jake time to take care of business. So Taco's truly a hero.
No, Taco is something special. That dog's earned his retirement, He's in the air conditioning, he's laying up on the couch, he sleeps in the bed sometimes, He's he's the best dog ever,
That dog did exactly what he was supposed to do in that moment. They train for these situations, for all kinds of different encounters, and Taco's response that night, combined with Jake being there, was the sole reason Matt's still with us here today.
I wasn't surprised Taco did what he did, because Matt trained him to do that. That's hard work right there by a handler to train their dogs to engage in a battle like that. And again, the right handler and the right dog were on scene that day. Taco did his job. I was so proud of him. I was so proud of Matt and Jake. The three of them deserve this.
You never expect that a track like that is going to go bad. You would never do this job if you thought about that. You never think about things going south. But without Taco, 100%, there's no way. Now it's a fair fight between Zion and Jake. If Taco wasn't there, whoever gets the first effective round wins, and he drew us into a gunfight, and Jake was out in the middle. If you watch the video, he got all 3 rounds off on Jake before Jake was behind cover. The only reason that those rounds went wild was because of Taco. So I don't know. I mean Taco, without Taco intervening, I can't say that Jake would still be here. And I fully believe that if I ran that by myself, he would have killed my dog and probably would have made sure I was dead before he left.
I can't think of a better person to receive the award. And I don't know what else a deputy could do to receive the award. So, yeah, more than appropriate.
He is a hero. There's no doubt about it. He's a hero. Jake, after the shooting, I asked Jake, we talked for a while, and I was like, what made you go down there? You were in Squad 2, and this is a Squad 1 call, and he couldn't tell us. He's like, I just felt like I need to go.
It can't always be Jake. I was very fortunate Jake was there. It can't always be Jake. We need an agency full of Jake Vianos. His entire career over the course of 20 years prepared him for that occasion. He was exactly where he needed to be in order to save my life. And so, they can give him Deputy of the Year, Medal of Honor. Whatever they give him is never going to be enough. I don't think there's a medal that's going to, distinguish Jake apart from the other deputies for what he did.